Thursday. Let me resume the recording here. So welcome to Tech Thursday, January 9th edition here, as we're going to talk about Facebook lists and how you can use them to kind of both kind of segment who you send your content out to, and then also how you can use that a custom list inside of Facebook to kind of change your algorithm. They've unfortunately limited some of the usefulness that custom lists used to have. You used to actually be able to get a nice feed of that. They've changed that. But once you get these custom lists set up, you can then go through and, as you start, clicking on other people's content, it's going to, it's going to change your feed a little bit, and maybe you'll be able to, instead of seeing the stuff from the same 5 people all the time, you'll be able to use the custom list to change who you're seeing in your feed a little bit. So is anybody, just kind of get a feel for who's on the call today, drop a 1 in the chat if you have used custom lists or if you're familiar with them at all. And drop a 2 if you have no idea what I'm even talking about. So I see some 2s. Okay, awesome. 2, good. Then I guess we're in the right place and we've got a good topic for today. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. We did get a couple 1s in the chat there. Awesome. Thank you guys for participating and let me know that people are alive. I know it's cold, but we want to try to stay alive out there. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Hopefully you are now seeing my Facebook dashboard. Someone confirm that that is in fact what you are seeing? All right. So first thing you need to do is you need to create custom lists. Now, I think of custom lists as a potential way to basically segment people based on either like industries, like hobbies. I use this quite frequently in my CRM as well, so that I can start sending segmented information out to specific people in my database rather than just sending out a post or an email that goes to everybody. So why I like to use Facebook is the only place to do this currently. And Facebook is, as much as we kind of, some of the younger people will joke that it's only the old people that are on there now, it is the most mature platform for social media. It has the most mature algorithm. Sometimes, some of the other algorithms, they're just a little way too overbearing on like certain posts, like especially TikTok. I found if you even look at a post with a certain topic, your next 10 videos are that exact topic. Whereas Facebook is a mature enough algorithm to know that people don't want to see just one type of information in their feed. So Facebook is a great place to get that done. So the first thing you need to do is you need to create those lists. So how you do that is on the left-hand side. If you're on you have to create them on your desktop. So you can't create, at least I could not find a way to create custom lists on mobile. You can view your custom lists, but you can't create them on your mobile. So on the left-hand side, you have friends. And then under friends, you'll see friend requests, suggestion, all friends, birthday list. The last option there is custom lists. So then under custom lists, you can see some of the segments that I already have. So I can segment out just my North Carolina real estate agents, people who are in Tom Ferry when I was in Tom Ferry, all of that kind of stuff. So and you can see my clients, and you could create lists based on, sharing common hobbies. Clients is obviously a great one because you can go in and kind of see then what your clients are up to, and gives you great opportunities to create touch points. But let's go ahead and down here, and I'm going to hit create list, and I am going to hit just real brokers. And I'm going to create that list, and then I'm going to hit confirm, and then you'll see this where it says you have nobody on this list. Now, there's a couple different ways that you can add people to the list. I'm going to show you a couple different ways to get that done this morning. But the first one is just add friends. And if I know, as example, Diane is a real broker, I am seeing her. And so I just go ahead and do that. And I can then just start doing other people who I know are my real broker friends. Aha. So I can do that. And then once you have the ones you want, you can go ahead and hit save. And now these become that custom list. So that's one way that you can do that. That's a very tedious way to get that done. There's another way that I think you can kind of hijack if you've got you know, a list like that, and you know where those people are hanging out, as an example. So that's one way to get that done. Any questions or anything you want me to need me to redo on that so far? All right. So another way to do it, and this is a more of a like custom way to do it, is you're going to go back to like, so as an example, that real broker list that I just made there, right? I know that everybody who is also in this group here, this real broker, real triangle group, is also happens to be a real broker. So if I click on that list, now I've got now in the basically the feed for that list. And if I go to members, it's going to give me a list of all of the members in there. And then I can see which ones are friends I'm already friends with. And I can just go, and if you hover over that person who's on that list, who's already, so they already have to be a friend to be added to your custom list. And then you go to friends and click on that. Now I can edit that friend list for this person, and I can add Carrie to any list that I want to. So she was already on my North Carolina real estate agents list. Now I can add her to my real broker list. So that's a way, again, you know, if you already know where some of those friends are, it's another way to quickly add friends to that list. So I can just go down here, hover over Peter. He's already a friend. Edit my friends list, add him to my real broker and my North Carolina real estate agents. So that's one way that you can also kind of add them, because it can get tedious to go through. If I go back to my friends list, and I am doing one, going back to friends, custom list, and one like clients, right? So these are all my clients. They're a little harder to, you know, to just kind of find in a group like that. So you'd have to go through, and once you have a list already created, if you want to add people to that list, you're going to go up to the top right and you'll see 3 dots, and you will hit add remove, or you can also edit the list name, or you can add remove. So let's say I just signed up a new client, and I want to add them to this list so I can stay on top of them. I can go, and I have this new client here, both husband and wife. I'll go ahead and add them. Now they are on my friend, that custom list that I've created for clients. So that's how you go through and you create the custom lists. Questions on anything so far? Or anything you would need me to slow down or redo? All right. So now how do you use these lists? So there's a couple different ways that you can use these lists once you've created them. So again, like I said, it used to be you could go into your back to your dashboard, and in this feeds list on the left-hand side, there used to be an option for custom lists where you could say, okay, I just want to see my real brokers, and that would show up, and that would be the feed of just their most recent posts. That was a phenomenal resource and a great, easy way to go through. And, you know, if you want to see what your clients are up to, when you want to reach out for, you know, you want to write them a handwritten note and see what's going on in their world in case you missed a post, that was the way you could do that. Now you've got to kind of manually get that done if you want to do that. And the way you can do that is you can create a favorites list. So let's say you've got you have your 10, newer clients or clients that you're actively working with right now that you want to stay on top of them, and you want to make sure they kind of show up in your feed. You can add them to your favorites. So again, to navigate here, I'm back from my dashboard, and on the left-hand side, I have feeds, and I go to favorites. I can see my favorites here, or I can also manage my favorites. So I can, once I click on, go back there, hit manage favorites, and I hit favorites again, and now I can add people to these favorites. So I just added Philip Bowman. I want to add him to my favorites, and then Christine Bowman. I want to add, she's probably in there as Chris.
Chris, can you go back and do that one more time? Go from the feed to how to add, how to edit the favorites and such.
Yep.
Thanks.
So like from my dashboard feed, so I'm on my dashboard, like my home dashboard, I go to feeds and then favorites. And now I hit manage favorites. And then you're going to get some content preferences here. And I'm going to go to favorites. And this is how you can prioritize their posts in the feed. And I can find the people. So if I want to add Megan to that, go ahead now, add Kelly. So now all of those people are in my favorites. And you can add up to 30 friends. And you can also do pages as favorites. So
Thanks.
now, yeah, absolutely. So now if I go back to my favorites, more people should now be in here. So now I just add Mahala. She is in here. She wasn't on this list before. So now this is basically my Facebook feed for just my favorites. And once this is here and you've created this inside of the dashboard, now if I move over to mobile, you can go to your feeds, and favorites is one of the feeds. And now it's like a normal feed where you've kind of hijacked what your feed is. And now you can see only post from your favorites in this example. Or, if you want to do, just specific, all your friends. I mean, friends is kind of your normal feed that shows up. Ads still show up in them. So it's not a way to filter out ads or anything. They're still going to show up every, third or fourth ad, of course. I mean, every third or fourth post. But it's a way to, again, to then as you start interacting and engaging with those people more, now they're going to organically show up in your regular feed, more often than they had in previously. Any questions on that so far? So that is creating the friends list, adding people to the friends list. You can also do the same thing to remove, renaming the friends list. So if I go back into friends and go to custom lists, and I go to North Carolina real estate agents, and I want to just change the name of this list, I'll go up to the 3 dots in the corner. I'll hit edit list name. And now this is going to be NC Brokers. So now that list is there. And you know what? I don't want to see Peter's stuff anymore. I'm done with that. I can take him off of the list just by hitting the X there. So that X just takes them off the list. And then if you want to just be done with that list, because let's just say you were into yachting and you made a yachting, or a boating friends list. And now I moved from the coast. I don't care about boats as much. I can just go up here and then I can delete that list. And then that just deletes that list. They still remain your friends. They still will see any post that you had created specifically just to them, but that list is no longer there, and you can no longer use that list to do future segmented posts. So that's kind of creating the list, managing the list, managing your friends list. Questions on anything we've done so far? I think we're doing pretty good on time, so we should have some extra time at the end there too if you have any additional questions. All right, so now the real power of this is, where you can now start, once you've created these lists, you can create segmented posts so that, for example, I have the real estate school, right? And I posted last week for a post that, for the upcoming calendar for 2025. I could have just created that post to go to just my North Carolina brokers. Because you know what? My Rhode Island brokers and my Massachusetts brokers that are my friends here, they don't need to see that post. My friends and family don't need to see that post. I can then create a post that's segmented just to those people rather than having it show up to that. To show up to everybody. And you can, you could use that same kind of thing. Let's say you're posting an update about a family member that you didn't want everybody to see. But you wanted your friends and family to see, you can create a friends and family list and only show it to just those people. And then conversely, finally with that, you can also exclude people. So let's just say you were planning a 50th birthday party for Chris this year. I'm turning 50 at the end of the year, and you wanted to create a post, but you didn't want Chris to see that or that person to see that. You can actually exclude that person from seeing that post. So it's some powerful tools once you get into that segmenting, and again, stuff you can't do on a lot of other platforms. So to do that, once you've created these lists, now you just go in like you're doing a regular post. So what's on my mind? You'll see this thing here you've probably done nothing with. It just is either set to public or whatever your privacy is. You'll see this as a little drop down there. Now, under this, I can say, I want this to go to a custom list. So now all of my custom lists are here. So if I want to send something to just North Carolina brokers, I scroll down, I find that North Carolina brokers list. You'll then be prompted to say, hey, do you want this to be your default audience? Most of the time, it's probably not going to be yes. So you'll leave that unchecked and you'll hit done. Now you're just going to do a regular post, whatever you wanted to do. However, it's only going to be shown to people who are in that specific list that you have. And I don't know this scientifically because the algorithm is always changing. My understanding is that when you post a segmented post like this, it's going to show to more of those people than it kind of organically would if you just put it to everybody, because it knows you're trying to send it to just these people, as opposed to, hey, have this class about North Carolina CE classes show up to everybody, and then that's only going to show up to, on average, 5 to 10% of your followers and friends anyway. So now I just go in here and put whatever that post is. Let's just say I'm going to add that post, that photo. Nope, cancel that. And I just want to grab a post there. Now, only people who are in this group are going to see whatever that post is. So again, rather than showing this post to everybody and you flooding people's feed with real estate stuff, we don't want every post to be about real estate, but we need a lot of our posts to be about real estate in the business. So it's an opportunity for, again, so that you can, now no one will even see that you ever posted that unless they're in that specific group. So as an example, anybody can test this. So there's only a couple people on this list right now. So if I go ahead and post this, and anybody who's a friend of mine that wants to check their Facebook feed, they should not see that post unless they're on that list. And you can see that this was it was posted to just a custom list by hovering over it, and you can see what that custom list was. Another way that you can do this, again, going back into my create post, hit under the drop-down button for public, you can say friends accept or only show it to some friends. So if I want to show this, this post to just specific people, you can do that. So if I go friends accept, now it's going to say, hey, I want to show this. This post is going to show up on my regular feed to everybody except for Abby. I don't want Abby to see this because I'm talking some crap about her. Abby's never going to see this unless she's hovering over someone's shoulders and seeing that post on their feed there. So a great way for you to kind of, again, create segmented posts and target posts too. Again, because that, that post is targeting just that audience, I understanding is that it will see more of those people on that list will see it in their feed as well. So some great ways for you to kind of hijack the algorithm inside of Facebook to change who's seeing your posts and whose posts you are seeing. So that's what I had for Facebook friends list, a custom list. I think it's a very powerful tool, one that again has evolved since Facebook continues to evolve. But what questions do you guys have?
If they're not on the list that you shared the post with, will they still be able to see it if they go to your Facebook page?
They won't. So like right now, who's on? Diane, you're a friend of mine. You go click on me on your mobile, you do not see that post that I just put, right? So you do not see 2.7% price gain. And I don't even know, I think.
On my laptop, I cannot see it. I'm not on
Gotcha.
mobile.
Yeah.
I have both, and I do not see it, Chris, in yours.
The only people
name.
who should see it, I think, are going to be
Peter
and Carrie. I deleted Pete. I took Peter off the list, so only Carrie is going to see that list right now. I mean, see this post right now.
Yeah, I don't see it either place. No.
Yeah.
I don't see it either. Okay, cool.
So it's pretty, again, it's a pretty,
The cool thing is that Carrie sees that list and she thinks everybody else sees it too, because she can't tell that it was targeted just to her.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
That's cool. This'll make me want to accept more real estate agents as friends. I don't typically like a lot of people. I know some people do. I am try to keep it more to some friends and some few,
Yep.
contacts and all, but very uncomfortable because of posting family and things and my grandkids and stuff. And I just don't think the whole world needs to know everything about me. So
Absolutely,
I've
yeah.
been I drive people to my business page. I say, hey, happy to connect with you, but can you connect here? I don't want you on my personal page.
Right,
But I
right.
might be more inclined to do that now and just create a list of those people and they will never see well, wait, let me take that back. If you still do a general post, they're still going to see that, right? Because they're in your
Yeah,
general
if you
friend thing. You're
if you do a
talking
regular
specific.
post and don't, but you could make, so for example, for that example, Diane, you could go in here and if you could change the default for this. So if you want your
I do,
default
and I
to
only
be,
have it on
yeah,
friends
yeah,
mostly, and then when I want
but
to, I do change that.
yeah, so you could make your default just that custom list you created that is, that is not that is just friends and family. So you've got friends, but you could create a custom list that is friends and family, and that is the stuff that you want to see your kids and your grandkids and stuff like that. And then like you as an example, you got an upcoming CE class, you can post that as well and just create a custom list to just the only people who care about that, right? Like
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that part's
my
awesome.
my Rhode Island friends don't care about
Right.
my
Yeah.
CE class I have coming up. In fact,
Yeah.
they may
My
go,
New York
God,
family don't care.
another post from Chris about real estate in North Carolina. I don't care about that. So I think it's a pretty powerful and
No, it is good.
it does take,
It's
I
great.
will say, especially if you've got, I remember the days where I was celebrating having 100 friends on here, going through and having, 1,700 people that you've got to filter into smarter lists, especially with like now for me, a lot of these people are real estate brokers and agents. So I have to go through, and if I'm making a North Carolina list, I'm probably going to go into groups like I showed, to find those people, because I think that's a great way to see, oh, this person should be on this list, because I know that, rather than kind of having to go through your entire feed and say, oh, this person's a client, this person's a client, this person's a client, and make that client list. So
Cool. Very cool.
what other questions, thoughts, comments, concerns? Was this valuable information for your social media strategy for 2025?
Chris.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Yes, Lakeisha.
Okay, I was wondering if you could hear me.
Yeah.
So I just went through and made my clients a custom list. So how did you say if you just wanted to see what was going on in your clients, could you just?
So unfortunately, they've taken away the easy way to get that done. So if I go, hold on, share my screen again. The best way to do that now, currently, as we're watching this video on January 9th, 2025, of course, it could change on January 10th, because we've already gotten rid of fact checkers now. They're no longer a thing on Facebook. I'm sure you've heard about that. I can go into the only way to do it currently is I have to go into friends. And if I go into, well, there's two ways you can do it. First, you can do the custom list and go to that list of people. Now, if I click on Carrie, I'm going to see what she's been posting. But the other way to do it is if I go into feeds and I add those clients to my favorites by going up here and hit manage favorites and go to favorites. And now I can just check off the people that I want to show up in my favorites. Up to 30 people can be in your favorites at any given time. And now this is my feed of just what they're recently posting. So there used to be a way where you could go in and if I clicked on, the way it was 2 years ago, if I went to, if I went to friends and custom list, and I clicked on this list, the feed would show up there. This would be the feed of all of the people who are on that list, and unfortunately, they've changed that.
Okay.
They want to tell you a little bit more of who you want to see, but this is a way for you to kind of take that back. And now, if you start engaging with that person's content a little bit more, then they will organically begin to show up on your feed.
Okay.
Assuming they're posting. That's the other thing too. There are lots of people who just don't post. That's why you're not seeing them on your feed anymore, as opposed to us real estate brokers who love to post and post and post. Some of us.
Don't know if we love to, we just feel like we need to.
Okay. Yeah.
Some of us anyway, but it's a necessity, I guess, a love-hate
Yes.
relationship. But
Absolutely.
so to that point, if somebody unfriends you because you don't know that, then you won't see their stuff either.
Correct. Yep.
And they won't see
And they
your
won't-
stuff.
and
But
they
you
won't
have no
see your
idea.
stuff. Yeah, you have no idea who unfriends you nowadays. You used to, way back in the day, you used to get that unfriend notification and you'd be like, what did I do to that person? But now you can just unfriend people anytime.
Well, you can figure that out by like typing in their name to search them.
Yes,
As
very
a friend,
true.
and you've been
Yeah.
unfriended. But if you're unfollowed, you don't know.
Correct. Yep.
Right. That's what I meant. If you unfollow
I have
them,
lots of family I have unfollowed.
Same.
if you unfollow them, then you won't see their stuff in your custom thing if they
Correct,
were
but
in
they'll-
that. Okay.
Right. Yep.
But they won't, but will they get stuff if you unfollow them, but will they get your stuff? Does that make sense?
I believe so. I think it's they still see your stuff if you
So they still
unfollow
see
them.
your stuff, you just don't see their stuff.
Correct. Yeah.
But obviously, yeah, if you unfriend people, they're out of your whole
Yeah.
sphere.
My uncle doesn't show up on my feed, but I might still show up on his.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's good to know too.
Yeah.
Chris, when we
Yes.
come to the favorites list,
Mhm.
I see the people to add, but as soon as I try and add, it says you've got too many favorites.
Mhm.
How do I see the list of who's on my favorites so I can, take some off and that kind of thing?
I believe. Hold on one
didn't-
second.
I was clicking around and I could not find where to go for that.
Yeah, I believe it's in your friends. And I think it's a custom, maybe it's not that's close friends. I was thinking it was this one here. I do not 100% know. I think in feeds, I mean, if I manage my favorites,
It only allows you to add.
yeah. I mean, you can see who's got the little star next to them.
Okay, I'll go back and play with it then. Thanks.
And then yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you might have to play with that a little
So
bit.
can't you just unstar them? Isn't that what you
Yeah.
could do?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep,
I
yeah.
just couldn't see any that were starred.
Yeah, it would be a list to have that, a nice list to have that star. Another thing too, just kind of final thing here, if you do want to kind of change this, so again, this is where this screen right here, you can get to it a couple of different ways, but this is managing favorites in your feeds. Click on this. This is a way you can kind of change your feed a little bit too. So manage defaults. You can kind of change, okay, I want less political content. Well, more or less of a political content or default. You can say, I don't want to see any of, show less of unoriginal or public. So you can kind of change your guidelines there too a little bit. That's not going to change the who's, but some of the other stuff might filter through. So it's 8:59. Anybody have any questions, thoughts, comments? All right. Well, thank you so much for hopping on. Next week, we're going back to WorkVivo. When I did the first WorkVivo session, I had to kind of fly through it to kind of fit everything in a half hour. So next Thursday, I'm going to talk about spaces. So next Thursday, if you want to learn about WorkVivo spaces and how you can use them either for, to build your own community or just to see how you can use someone else's community inside of WorkVivo, that's what I will be doing next Thursday at 8:30. But thanks for hopping on, and I hope to talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Thank you, Chris.